Irrfan, it is an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Let me stretch my hand and say thank you, because this is a frankly speaking interview after a very, very long time. We're thinking of who I really want to talk to. And without any doubt, after all your movies that I've seen of late, Irrfan, the only choice could be you, because I'm your biggest fan, especially after Singh Tomar.
Excellent.
I think you've done a superb job.
Thank you so much.
So what
after a long time, it's like my tapasya for 10 years, for a decade, I found this part, and I used to wish that somebody should give me a part where I could connect to audience, to their heart, where I could carry the story, and after a long time, I got this part, and I poured myself into it.
What do you mean by pour yourself into it?
Like, you connect to a person, and then your every, all your senses, connect to that, the thing which the story is saying. There's something which a story is indicating towards, and then you live for that person. You don't pretend. You like that space. You live that space, and you live those emotions, and you enjoy that.
Don't you do that for every role?
You try to do it for every role, and sometimes you don't like that space. Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
Like when I was doing In Treatment, I had to connect to that person. I had to be in that space for a certain period of time, like 3 months. But I was not enjoying myself in that space. I was waiting when this role would be over and I'll be not in this space, because it was playing in my mind, what you are playing, and you're trying to cope with the complexity of the character, and you do it because that's your commitment. You do it because you want to stretch your experiences, you want to stretch emotionally and intellectually and physically. That's why you do.
So is it only when you're playing the role, or the entire period when the movie is being shot?
It depends what kind of making is that. If it's a commercial kind of film where you don't need those kind of details, so you just connect when you are on the set. But certain roles, demand that you have to be in that space for a certain period of time. Like Namesake, for the first time I realized that what would happen when I'll grow old, and I was not liking that. That oldness, you start connecting through your body, and your body starts giving you those kind of signals, where you won't be that much of agile, and you won't, that signals of old age, and you feel like, I want to get over with this part as soon as possible.
Actually, I wanted to talk about Singh Tomar, but you mentioned Namesake, and I think that that's superb. I know you must have been asked this many times about that phone booth sequence, which comes back to my mind. Now tell me one thing. When the phone call is being made to Tabu in that movie, and he's in a hospital, I think. He's in a hospital, and he's calling his wife.
I wish I had come with you. I was also so selfish, only thinking about myself.
Oshima, don't worry, it is nothing.
In your view, at that moment, did the character know that he's going to die?
He had a kind of a strange feeling which he was not liking, but he never wanted to. There was a kind of desperation, definitely. There was a kind of unease which he couldn't handle himself. And when he starts talking to his wife, then he never wanted to make her uncomfortable.
Who was he reassuring, himself or his wife?
First his wife, and then maybe because after the talking, he himself started feeling better. But there was a kind of trigger which compels him to call her. And also the kind of life they were leading, the kind of relationship that was, there was a kind of dependence where a slight uncomfortableness, or slight any kind of thing you want to share.
Yeah.
But that was something special. That was something which was not normal, and that's the kind of feeling he was having. And there are fears, this every person has after a certain age, that any moment you can go, and because of media, because of so much of medicine industry, you carry these fears.
So you were shooting in a hospital in
hospital.
In a hospital.
It's a very interesting day I had that day, because we shot the birth of my child, we shot leaving the hospital, we shot her pregnancy, and we shot my death in the morgue at night, and we shot that scene.
You went through your whole life.
Whole life.
Went through your whole life.
Yeah, and
no, but what were you doing when you were going through each moment? You were trying to go through that experience.
No, because for me the phone call was much. I was concerned about that phone call, and I was concentrating on that. I was playing these scenes.
Why
but
didn't you detach yourself from your roles?
Sometimes you do detach. In certain roles, you don't really get into. Like Metro, let me give you an example.
No, one second. I want to stay with Namesake.
Okay.
Namesake was absolutely brilliant. At least, that's my limited subjective view of that movie. I also remember when you are driving with your son, right? And then you tell him how he got his name. I think there's this whole flashback sequence, right? Right. And then he tells you is that how you have. When he asks about how he got this name, and then he asks you what you remember of the last so many years, and you say every moment that I have had since then has been right. Yeah. Every moment that I have had since then, since you, my son, was born, has been the most beautiful moment of my life.
Yeah.
You remind me of everything that followed. Every day since then has been a gift, Gobol.
So what were you going through? Were you taking all the feelings that you would have, you would say to your own child, perhaps, in that sequence?
That line was for me very, very special. I did that role for certain lines, like this line.
Yeah.
And there was another line when he's taken his child on the sea, and he forgets his camera. And he tells him, okay, you just remember this moment, and remember that we have come to a place where there was nowhere left to go.
Remember that you and I made this journey, and we went together to a place where there was nowhere left to go.
When I read that line, I thought I will never get the chance to say this line in any other film. So these were the lines which were so vibrant and so compelling for an actor to just say those lines. I was struggling in that scene in the car, because Meera was asking me to bring up certain amount of emotionality, in that scene, and I was struggling with that. But in few takes, it worked out.
Singh Tomar.
Singh
Let's
Tomar.
talk about Singh Tomar. You were trying to actually intimidate that actor.
Who?
The journalist. What's his name? He's a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
Were you trying to intimidate him in the scene?
It was a kind of status game, and he never thought much about the kind of journalism happens there. He never had too much of regard for that. And there was a period when Singh wanted to surrender, and he was trying to connect to people, connect to people in the system, and he was trying to give those signals that I want to surrender, I want to live a normal life. And I think because of that interview, his whole life changes. That creates a hangama in assembly. And
but the best part of it was when he asks what is the price of an ice cream or a softie. When Singh Tomar asks.
Yeah.
What was that?
He was trying to tell him that I have lived a very important moments. I have been in Germany, I have been in foreign countries, and there was some, and he punctures it, the journalist. He says, "कि तो मिलती है ₹2.5 में."
How hard have you fought to get where you are, Irrfan?
It's been a constant fight, and I have enjoyed it. A little bit tiring sometimes, but
When were you most tired?
when I don't get parts which I'm looking for, when I had to do films in which I don't believe, those are the most
Tell me a
tiring
movie
moments.
you didn't believe, but
I
you
don't
did.
want to name those movies because everybody makes their movie, you know, which is their.
You still do movies you don't believe?
I wish I don't have to, but you know, let's hope I don't need to do.
Do you
movies.
believe today that, Irrfan, you are leading a moment of great change in the Indian film industry, which will no longer be dominated by just 3 or 4 so-called big stars? The concept of what works, what doesn't, what is popular, what is not.
I think that was the
changes.
intention. That was the intention when we started doing films in 2000. We did Hustle, and that was the intention. That was a belief in me and in Tigmanshu and other filmmakers that we are going to redefine entertainment. We want to bring stories on forefront, and the story should be the star rather than an actor. So that was so it's 10 years now, and now.
Is that why you've dropped Khan from your name?
Khan was it's a long explanation in a
Give me
way.
the long explanation.
Yeah, I'll tell you, because these group things, that I'm from Jaipur, I'm from Rajasthan, I belong to this sect, I belong to this religion, I belong to this gang. This this is a kind of it's a disease. It's an imprisonment. It's a kind of taking. You don't want to take responsibility of your own.
But it's also a shortcut, right?
It's a.
For
But
some
it doesn't happen. It doesn't. It's just you just want to feel proud to belong to certain gang or sect or community or religion, because it's still we have a tribal mentality that my gang is the strongest. That's what religion politics is all about, and these caste and tribes, all these groups, what they are doing, they are trying to somehow convince themselves that my group is the most strongest group.
Yeah.
And that's why and sometimes people start comparing me with other Khans. Why do they have to compare with Khans? What is this mentality?
Why? Why not?
Why?
Well, why not?
But why? Why just
But
with
why
Khans?
not? Why not? Maybe you'll do better.
No,
Of
no.
course you'll do
Because I
better.
do better.
In 2008, a Time magazine article is written about you. I'm not in the business of pumping anyone's ego, you know that.
Right.
But I tell you, in 2008, an article is written saying that you are the foremost actor in Asia. And that's in the Time magazine.
But that has nothing to do
So
with Khan.
why would a comparison not be drawn between Irrfan and say Shah Rukh, or Irrfan and Salman, and Irrfan and Amir?
Because
And
there's
then, and maybe Irrfan comes out even better than the rest.